The following program is the work of the broadcast students at the British Columbia Institute of Technology. BCIT magazine features news stories from around the Lower Mainland which were produced over the last week. Responsibility for the content of the show rests completely with the students and their instructors.
Coming up on BCIT magazine, students vote on whether or not to continue the U-Pass program.
Indigenous street food comes to Vancouver.
And a Vancouver free market gives clothes to the community. Hello and welcome to BCIT magazine. I'm Joel Ballard.
And I'm Lauren MacFarland. The BCIT Student Association is holding a referendum this week. The question, what to do about the provincial U-Pass transit system. Our reporter Kei Kamara has more on what this could mean for students moving forward.
BCIT students have the opportunity to vote on getting rid of the U-Pass program altogether or keeping the price the same.
This means that for students, they're not going to be paying an extra $100 or so a semester. That means that there isn't a price increase on the monthly fare.
BCIT currently collects $40.50 per month from eligible full-time students for the U-Pass, while a standard one-zone monthly pass goes for $93, 2 zones $126, and 3 zones will cost you $176 per month. But to freeze the price of the U-Pass, X number of students need to agree. What do they deem enough? 5% of all students need to vote yes.
About the quantity of people who have their say. Because it's completely different when 500 people say, yes, we want a price freeze, as opposed to 5,000.
We asked students on campus their opinion on the referendum.
I like the U-Pass. It's pretty convenient. I think they should keep the U-Pass.
Hopefully the same.
It's a good idea to keep it because so many people use it, so I don't really see a reason why they wouldn't want to keep it. Especially since I use it, it's convenient to have, so I'd love it if they kept it.
Students can vote by going online through their MyBCIT accounts. The referendum closes February 2nd. Schulze in Burnaby for BCIT magazine.
Our reporter Kei Schulze joins us now. Kayla, what happens if not enough students vote in the referendum?
Lauren, if less than 5% of the student body votes yes, that means the U-Pass program will no longer be available to full-time students. Timothy mentioned that the contract states either the price stays the same or it's not offered at all. Lauren?
And Kayla, how can students vote?
Students can vote by going online to their MyBCIT account. Once you log in, it's at the top of the right-hand corner. You just have to click yes or no, and that's all you have to do. Back to you.
A group of dedicated volunteers are making sure that people on the street are staying warm this winter. My co-anchor Lauren MacFarland has the story about how they're giving people what they need and not asking for anything in return.
A warm jacket can mean a lot, especially in weather like this. But staying warm can be expensive, and that's where the Vancouver Free Market comes in. This month, the Free Market is celebrating 6 years of helping the community. Trevor Cox has only been coming for a few years. He says he was immediately hooked.
He told me that there was a free market tomorrow and if I was coming, and I was like, what? What's a free market? We give away free clothes, food, household objects, anything you can imagine. And I was like, I'm definitely gonna be there. And so ever since March 6th of 2016, I've been coming here every second Sunday.
Standing in the rain for a few hours may be difficult, but for Trevor, the important thing to remember is that some people can't go home.
There's people that are living in this rain every day and not just every second Sunday, and not just for 4 hours like I am. Knowing that I have a warm bed to sleep in, being privileged enough to have that, it's the least I could do to come out to a rainy park every second Sunday.
Free Market may have been operating for a while, but the need is bigger than ever.
This town is getting very, very expensive for people to live. And just by the time you pay your rent and your bills, there's not much left over for clothing and kitchenware. So it's nice to be able to supply stuff that people would normally go out and buy, and it enables them to buy the essential stuff that they need.
The need is so great that the free market is expanding this year with a new indoor location in New Westminster. Lauren MacFarland in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine.
As Kinder Morgan heads into hearings with the National Energy Board this week, a group of concerned citizens have cooked up a new way to block construction at the pipeline's Burnaby terminal. My co-anchor Joel Ballard has the story.
Yum, yum, yum.
These protesters were up before the break of dawn to serve up a carbo-loaded form of defiance. A pancake protest.
I want to stop climate change any way I can. I've made a vow to my son that I will do everything to prevent his premature death because of climate change.
They've set up a blockade to stop crews from entering the work site.
And so the workers' bus has been stopped. The contractors are not showing up. The people that normally are coming down here are not here today. And so they've gotten the word by cell phone from the guards at the gates, don't show up, you're not going to get in.
The expansion is expected to increase the amount of oil traveling through BC to 890,000 barrels a day. Although no white flag was seen flying, a small symbol of peace was extended.
We did invite Kinder Morgan to have some pancakes with us today. So far, we haven't been able to share our pancakes, but we're not giving up yet.
BCIT reached out to Kinder Morgan, who said that construction continued as normal, and added, "We support the right to peacefully and lawfully express opinions and views about our project, and we understand that not everyone supports the expansion." As the sun rose, so did the activist spirits, as they sung out in dissent. Joel Ballard in Burnaby for BCIT Magazine. You've heard of Chinese food, Indian food, and Mexican, but now Indigenous cuisine is taken to the streets of Greater Vancouver. Our reporter Danielle Carr has a story about how one man is serving up a piece of his culture.
One taco and one pulled pork, please.
He calls himself Mr. Bannock, and he's bringing the first Indigenous food truck to BC.
We have our Indian taco. It's like Mexican fusion with Indigenous.
And people are lining up to try it.
I'd heard about it, the opening, and I was curious. It's really good. It's like chili with some sour cream and cheese, all on top of a bannock.
Indian taco?
Natral says he learned how to make bannock from his mom.
I'm so proud of him. Yeah, he's doing a great job.
Locals came out to show their support.
I think that reclaiming Indigenous cultures is extremely important, and what Paul is doing with Mr. Bannock, I think that's a wonderful thing.
The fried bread.
Natral says most of his dishes include bannock, which has a long history in his culture.
My people used to use moss and ash to make a flatbread, and that was before the settlers came.
Mr. Bannock says he can't wait to bring Indigenous food to communities all over BC. Danielle Carr in North Vancouver for BCIT Magazine.
A new report by Point2 Homes says that Victoria is one of Canada's hotspots for millennials. The report looked at a number of factors such as housing affordability, life satisfaction, education, and crime rate. Victoria came in second only to Quebec City.
Coming up on BCIT Magazine, how the XFL's return could make an impact to Canadian football.
We talked to the Whitecaps' Kei Kamara.
Journalism's changed a lot in the last 20 years, and BCIT's been at the forefront of that evolution.
Those are your news updates for Evolution 1079 News.
Now it seems like the industry is changing by the minute, so now, more than ever, we're taught how to adapt.
The federal government unveiled a new immigration plan that would
When I first started at BCIT, there was only one thing that I really wanted to do in journalism, and this program really opened my eyes to all the avenues of employment. And now I feel really confident that I have the skills to get hired.
From day one, you're out there chasing down stories.
You aren't just sitting in a classroom reading about journalism, you are a journalist.
BCIT Newsroom. I look back at the work I was doing even 3 months ago, and it's just amazing to see how far you can come in such a little bit of time. This program really teaches you skills and techniques to learn how to better communicate.
Jamie Dodd in Vancouver.
In New Westminster.
In Burnaby.
For BCIT Magazine. Welcome back. The XFL will return in 2020. A football league run by WWE owner Vince McMahon will have its second chance at kickoff. But how will the third North American Football League affect the game north of the border? Raja Shurgill has the story.
These high school football players are training for the upcoming season. Just as the NFL season winds up, and no CFL on TV either, there's a new game in town, hoping to snag the attention of fans across North America with a new style of football.
This is the future. This is not the past. This is the future. In the future.
With the CFL contracts being 2-year contracts minimum when you're a rookie, that a rookie might be more inclined to want to try the XFL because it's a shorter contract. But I'm just not convinced. When it was around for a little bit the previous time, it didn't have a big impact on the league then. And you know, I'm not a believer yet that it's going to be here.
The XFL first hit the field in 2001, but fumbled just after 1 year. The league could face an uphill battle. TV ratings for the NFL have dropped 17% in the last 2 years, and they will have to go head-to-head with the CFL as well.
The television ratings are still strong for the league, and the attendance figures in most markets are still strong for the league. So I think people aren't looking for an alternative. If you're an NFL fan, you're an NFL fan, and if you like the CFL and you're a traditionalist or whatever, you're a CFL fan. I don't think people are looking for alternatives to football in this country.
As for Canada's up-and-comers,
it may in fact actually open up a couple more spots for like Canadian university football players. Like the ratio, like the Americans are going to have another option, so that might hurt some of the American content in the CFL.
For now, Canadians and the rest of the world will wait to see how Vince McMahon can reimagine football. Raja Shurgill in New Westminster for BCIT Magazine.
We're now joined by our reporter, Raja Shurgill. Raja, can you tell us about some of the rules involved with the XFL?
Yeah, there will be some key differences. For example, the XFL is emphasizing a much faster-paced game. So if you're a fan of eliminating halftime or perhaps just shortening it, then the XFL is doing just that. And as for cheerleaders, well, there won't be any in the XFL. And for anybody who has a criminal record, well, they can't participate either. Back to you.
And how will the WWE be involved this time around?
Yeah, that's a good question. Last time we saw a lot of crossover with the WWE, such as The Rock taking part in intermissions or broadcasters like Jim Ross calling the game. However, this time, even Vince McMahon himself won't be on the field, and you can see no crossover with World Wrestling Entertainment and the Football League. Back to you guys.
The Vancouver Canucks are standing up to fight addiction. 2 ads will be placed around Rogers Arena, urging anyone suffering from drug addictions to seek help. The ads will also be placed on local billboards, TV, and social media. The Vancouver Whitecaps are heading into preseason play in Hawaii. Our producer Aaron Schulze caught up with their new star player to talk about the year ahead.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Kei Kamara, one of the newest acquisitions acquired by Vancouver Whitecaps FC. Over the offseason, a striker come in. Kei, welcome to Vancouver. Can you describe coming in? You've been in Vancouver for just about a few weeks now. What was your first impression of Vancouver coming in here when you're moving, and what's the adjustment been like to you so far?
Yeah, it's been great. Actually, if I have to say, first impression was, wow, it's raining out here, and but everybody said get used to it. So I went and bought myself a raincoat, so I'm ready for it now. But it's a beautiful city. I don't think any player or anyone around the world, they will show you Vancouver, a picture of Vancouver, and then you decline to come into Vancouver. But I've been here a few times to play against the team, and I know what the stadium is like. I know the atmosphere of the stadium, and those things really get you going as a player, and you want to be in that, in those kind of facilities and playing. So when I got the phone call and saying I was coming to Vancouver, I was very happy.
The Whitecaps, a team famous for set pieces, from corner kicks and free kicks. So what are some of the attributes to your game that you think can help the team style?
I'm a little guy, so
clearly.
I know, yeah. But yeah, no, definitely I'm one of the most athletic players in the league, so I own up to that. And my aerial duels have been, known for me. So definitely I want to be able to bring that into this team. I've watched this team play over and over, and I've seen the production that it's, it gives the strikers. And being a striker, that's the kind of system you want to be in. So talking to the coach and telling me how he wants to play, I just, hope to fit into the team the best way so I'm able to help these guys out, and we all can help each other, because at the end of the day, we want to get wins for one cause. It's, get all the wins, the most wins we can, so at the end of the day, we can celebrate.
Finally, this is a team that had a successful year last year, third in the Western Conference, didn't quite get past the first round, but it seems like a team that's really ready to take the next step. What are your expectations for this season?
Yeah, just be better than last year. And, that's really what it is. There's nothing less than that you work for when you start in preseason. So we start in preseason, everybody comes in, nobody wants to come into preseason and just say, no, I'm just showing up to play. And to me, as a player, again, I've been in the playoffs before, and it's never enough. So you want to be better than last year. No pressure on the guys in the locker room, but being better than last year obviously takes us to the final, and then when you're in the final, there's only one thing you want, is win the championship. So again, no pressure to the guys in the locker room.
Awesome. Kei, thank you very much for doing this. Welcome to Vancouver, and best of luck going forward this season.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, that's Kei Kamara, the new striker for Vancouver Whitecaps FC this season. Over 100 goals and 300 games in his career, and hopefully a few more of those with the Vancouver Whitecaps. Back to you in the studio.
Mr. Carey Underwood himself, Mike Fisher, announced that he'll be returning to the Nashville Predators. Fisher announced his retirement from the team after they lost to the Pittsburgh Penguins in the 2017 Stanley Cup Finals. There is no current timetable on his return.
Coming up on BCIT Magazine, an old arcade classic is becoming a favorite again.
And women are using the full moon to empower one another.
Back order control.
Zoom out just a tiny bit.
Sorry, say that again?
Can you zoom out a tiny bit?
It's a quick 2 years. They get you in and they get you out, but you leave with so much more knowledge than you walked in.
The BC Hockey League hosted the 3rd annual BCHL Showcase last weekend. The showcase also allows fans to come.
The tools you learn are very valuable. You leave with a comprehensive knowledge of many of the programs that are used in everyday workforces around all the newsrooms in Vancouver. Beginning of your 2-year program, you don't really expect that in 2 years' time you're walking out ready to be a part of the journalism industry.
Good morning and welcome to Evolution News. I'm Chantal Pesquitza.
I was lucky enough to get a job a week after I graduated. I think that has a lot to do with the teachers and fellow students prepping you for the outside life once you graduate from BCIT. Yeah, if it wasn't for BCIT, I'd be lost.
Oh, hey Aaron, what are you snacking on? Tide Pod! Tide Pods? What are you snacking on Tide Pods for?
The internet told me to.
Well, if the internet told you to go to a bunch of fun events in the Lower Mainland, would you do that too?
Probably.
Well, I got a video for you if you want to see it.
Take a break this winter and stroll through the Lanterns of Blessings in West Galleria at Oakridge Center. Launch your own blessing in the sky lantern this year at Oakridge in celebration of Chinese New Year as we ring in the Year of the Dog. Woof!
On February 10th, the Brazilian Community Association of BC, Latin-Couver, and Samba-Couver will be playing on the biggest Brazilian carnival Vancouver has ever seen. The event takes place at the Harbour Event Centre and features talent such as Samba-Couver and DJ Rafael Lucchesi.
On February 8th, Science World transforms into Vancouver's largest cocktail laboratory. At Science of Cocktails, Vancouver's most talented bartenders and chefs will showcase the science behind preparing modern cocktails and cuisine. Each ticket includes open bar at over 25 stations, curated by award-winning bartenders.
On February 10th, BCIT's Planetarium is putting on a full-on laser show featuring songs from The Gorillaz, Dark Side of the Moon, and Radiohead. The show starts at 7:20 and it features a new and improved 360 video projection system, lasers, and full-on concert surround sound.
Well, what do you say, Aaron?
Let's go!
All right.
Woo!
Welcome back. The predecessor to the video game pinball has seemingly made its way back into the mainstream. Shelby Meyer tells us the story of a local pub and why its pinball league nights are so popular.
The flashing lights and loud sounds says it all. It's Pinball League Night at Pub 340. Matt Ewan, tournament director, believes pinball is making such a big comeback because of its ability to make players forget.
It's one of those games where when you're really in your mode,
you can't really focus on anything else. You're 100% concentrated on what you're doing. So that's kind of one of the appeals of pinball.
And other patrons seem to agree.
It's really fun, and yeah, it brings out a fun competitive spirit with everyone. It's not too aggressive.
It's private time for me and my range, and it's the only thing that makes me happy right now.
Around $300 are up for grabs after the 8 weeks of tournament is finished. To the winner goes the cash, and for everyone else, it's game over till next year. Shelby Meyer in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine.
Celebrities banded together to speak out against President Trump at a People's State of the Union the night before Trump's address. The event was organized by groups like Planned Parenthood and the Women's March. BCIT students are making their mark on affordable housing, but for puppies. Our reporter Umar Baines tells us the story about how this goes beyond furry friends.
There's more to these custom-made tiny homes than meets the eye. The doghouses are meant to be seen as a warm-up project for BCIT students who are getting ready to build something a little bit bigger than that.
Well, the doghouses are a skill-building project that our students are doing to help them develop the skills for building a tiny home. The reason we're doing that is to prepare the students for the skills exploration classes that are being taught in high schools.
Other instructors like Randy Schulze had a very simple vision in mind when it came to building the modular homes.
It's very topical these days. I mean, with the housing situation in British Columbia, we're looking for housing alternatives, and that struck a chord with me, and it seemed to be a bit of a design challenge. There's lots going on in the way of tiny home designs.
As for dog owners buying houses now, they got drawn to the idea of helping promote young builders.
Well, I suppose it helps promote the program here at BCIT, and like I say, it's a good cause. The SPCA, $20, you can't beat that, right? So.
Until the bigger homes can be built, the smaller dog homes will do just fine. Umar Baines in Burnaby for BCIT Magazine.
A whale has learned to imitate human speech. Scientists say Wiki, the 14-year-old killer whale, can say words like hello, bye-bye, and 1-2. He was taught how to copy other behaviors in a previous study.
It's the super blue blood moon this week, and as Danielle Carr reports, some women say they're connecting to the positive vibes of the moon.
This isn't a seance. It's a celebration, where women are coming together to connect to the energy of the moon and each other.
As ladies, we all connected to the moon by our bodies and the natural cycle of our bodies. So we try to create the circle that girls, ladies of any age can come and be together and find that support and different tools like meditation.
Women here say the experience is powerful.
After all the rituals and the cleansings that we did, there's nothing but positive vibes and women uplifting women.
I actually cried during that because I felt so liberated.
Organizers say the ceremony is a sacred space for women only.
We live in a world with masculine energy, and masculine energy really prevails. And that doesn't allow feminine energy, that softer, nurturing, and caring side to open up.
Women at the circle say they don't get enough of this.
Coming together as women and focusing solely on that specific energy as a group, and it's very much to do with like self-love.
Karma Teachers Studio says they'll offer more events like this in the future because of the strong demand for women-only circles. Danielle Carr in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine.
The 10th annual Gaming Jam was held this weekend. It was a chance for gamers to create their own games and then publish them to the world. Our reporter Raja Shurgil was there to see how it took some competitors days to finish.
We wouldn't do like rocket launchers or machine guns, we'd just do like big metal pikes to each other.
Hundreds of Vancouverites from the esports world showed up to the Global Gaming Jam. Participants had 48 hours to create a video game and submit it to the world.
New game developers are unable to finish their projects, so the original idea was to get people to sit down and actually finish a project, get it done in 48 hours, and then just move on. You know, one of the big tenets of game design is to fail fast So the idea is to get something out there. It doesn't matter if it's good, and once it's done, you're done. You move on.
With just 2 days to come up with the game, participants often spent a lot of rigorous hours finishing their projects.
He went the full 48. The year before that, I only got like 2 hours of sleep.
Some came as a team, others were lone wolves. Regardless, snacks and energy drinks were kept at a close range to keep them up and running. Each year there are different themes or topics that the games must be based on. This year's version, transmission.
Could be like a car, could be a radio, could be, who knows, a whole bunch of ideas.
To check out this year's creations, go to globalgamejam.org. Roger Shergill in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine.
A woman flying out of Newark Airport was told she couldn't bring along her emotional support peacock on a United Airlines flight this week, even though the woman had bought an extra ticket for her feathered friend.
If you have any questions regarding the show, you can contact us at bcit-broadcast.com or bcitbroadcastnews.ca.
Thanks for watching BCIT Magazine. I'm Joel Ballard.
And I'm Lauren MacFarland. We leave you now with another look at the super blue blood moon.